The war for Pandora is about to ignite. Welcome to our Who's Who breakdown of the first Avatar Fire and Ash trailer, a volcanic eruption of new characters and clans, clashing with old favorites and enemies. First up, Jake and Neytiri, our returning heroes. Jake, Sully, and Neytiri are back, but this time they're not just defending Pandora from humans, they're facing a civil war. Our heroic couple cover a wide range of emotions in their shared moments, starting with the powerful midpoint of the trailer. In a heated confrontation, Jake tells Neytiri that she cannot continue to live in hate. We also see them embracing in a quieter, maybe more mournful moment, likely relating to Nati. We see them seemingly leading their people into battle in an epic slow-motion shot, and finally, we also see them riding their Ikrons, soaring toward the floating mountains to fight Cororic. Individually, we catch glimpses of Neytiri preparing for battle, drawing her bow and locking eyes with a new enemy, Vang, the leader of the newly introduced Mongquan clan. It looks like her grief over Neytam's death might drive her to the edge, and could even lead to her ending up receiving human medical treatment. Jake's set to have a very busy movie too. He's seen trying to hold the family together, pleading with Neytiri and clashing with Lowok, possibly over the topic of young inter-clan love. And we also see him consoling adopted son Spider before later trying to rescue him up in the Hallelujah Mountains. In one of the trailer's biggest moments, Jake seems to be being taken into RDA custody, after the RDA come to the home of the Metkayina to find him. And of course we see Jake fighting with arch-nemesis Cororic. It wouldn't be an Avatar movie without these two going mano a mano, reigniting their decades-old feud. Next, the children are growing up. The younger generation are clearly stepping into larger roles in this movie. Let's start with Kiri, as she is seen all over this trailer from beginning until end. First off, she looks more mature this time around, and her role seems even more central. Early in the trailer, we see her mesmerized by an Atokarina, a sacred wood sprite tied to Awa. The same kind of sprite landed on Neytiri's arrow in the original Avatar, symbolizing Awa's blessing. Kiri's quiet wonder at this moment highlights her deeper, possibly unique spiritual connection to Awa, building on the events of the Way of Water, which showed us her special relationship with the goddess. We also glimpse Kiri aboard the Tlalim Sky Caravan, eyes wide in amazement as the Wind Trader's exotic world unfolds around her. She is often placed near symbols of transformation, new creatures, new landscapes, and spiritual signs, suggesting her arc will center on change and potential. Later shots show her armed and on the move with Spider, knife in hand, hinting at a survival subplot as the children navigate hostile terrain, alone, away from their parents. But most significantly, Ronal tells Kiri she must do whatever she can to help. We don't yet know what it is, but the fear in Ronal's voice and the intensity of her voice suggest it's serious and that it's something only Kiri can do. Does she hold the key to saving Pandora? Let us know what you think in the comments. Finally, we do see Kiri in jeopardy in the trailer's most important moment, but we'll get to that later. Meanwhile, Lowok continues to come of age, both as a warrior and a Lothario. He continues to get ever closer to Soraya, future Sahik of the Metkayina, and they both feature heavily in the first 30 seconds of the trailer. We see them together many times, swimming in the ocean, perhaps riding Ikron together, and sharing quiet moments of vulnerability and intimacy. Remember that Soraya, daughter of Ronal and Tonawari, helped Lowok adapt to life with the Metkayina in Way of Water. Now their bond seems stronger than ever. Whether this deepening young love will be tested by war remains to be seen. One thing is for sure, it's clear that Soraya and Lowok are emotionally aligned, and that they've picked up the mantle of the franchise's hottest couple from Jake and Neytiri. And in a film filled with fire and fury, this may be one of the story's most heartfelt threads. And if you want to stay up to date with everyone's favorite Pandoran couple, don't forget to like and subscribe. Away from romance, Lowok appears to have continued his bond with his Ikron, seen soaring again at the beginning of the trailer, further solidifying his warrior path. And he is seen wielding an assault rifle later on, and staring through its scope with great intensity, so he will be in the heart of the fight and stepping into the spotlight more than ever before. After the tragic death of his older brother, Lowok seems set to become a warrior in his own right, rather than the outcast we saw in Way of Water. And we hope to see more of him with Payakan, of course. Their scenes together were some of the most magnificent ever put on film. We see a little of Took in the trailer, but only a little. She's in the jungle with the other kids. There's no chance that Took won't be important, but we don't know how yet based solely on this trailer. Now, we also see a lot of Spider, but we will come back to that later. First, let's look at Ronal, Tonawari, and the Metkayina. Kate Winslet returns as Ronal. matriarch of the Metkaina clan. The trailer gives us several glimpses of her and Tonowari, suggesting that they and their clan may play an even more important role than they did in the last movie. One scene shows the leaders standing together in what looks like a ritual involving Payakan. We also see the leaders exchange glances that likely relate to their daughter's new relationship with that Sully boy, Lowok. And then comes a moment of urgency as Ronal pleads with Kiri. This raises the possibility of Tonowari coming under threat from RDA forces invading their home. Ronal's arc could be one of reluctant faith, torn between duty, tradition, and the frightening new force that Kiri represents. Tonowari's arc looks to be that of a leader protecting his clan and the resident Sully family. Expect Ronal to return to the water too. Winslet famously held her breath for over 7 minutes filming underwater scenes for Way of Water. We may finally get to see those scenes pay off fully in Fire and Ash. Speaking of deep dives, we'll be exploring every corner of the Avatar universe, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Introducing Vang and the Mangwan clan. At the heart of this trailer is the terrifying debut of Vang, played by Una Chaplin. A leader forged by tragedy, she's the franchise's first true Na'vi villain. Her people, the Mangwan clan, live in the volcanic area of Pandora, a region devastated by a massive eruption that obliterated their home tree and left them spiritually severed from Eywa. They are known as the Ash People, and their culture reflects that name. Nihilistic, hardened, and possibly even dangerous to other Na'vi. The trailer shows us the Ash Village built into the remains of their old home tree, a massive, charred ruin surrounded by blackened skies and circling night wraiths. Their warriors wear red and black war paint and are armed with weapons which may or may not be forged from volcanic materials. Speaking of weapons, Varang's firepower, literally. In one shot, most likely Vang, but possibly one of her warriors, appears to control fire with their hands. This is a shocking, possibly mystical ability never before seen on Pandora. Is it Eywa corrupted? Is it technological? Or biological? No one knows yet. What's certain is that Vang represents a new kind of threat, a Na'vi shaped by the forces of destruction, rage, and isolation. A dark mirror image of Neytiri, one who has embraced her dark side and is willing to attack other Na'vi, including Kiri, in order to get what she wants. But what does she want? Cororic. A new alliance, a new look. One of the most dramatic reveals in the trailer is the return of Colonel Miles Cororic. Cororic is seen walking through the ash-covered wastelands of the Mangwan territory, stripped of his usual RDA weaponry. He's there to meet with Vang. Then later, we see him rearmed, but now in Mangwan war paint, red and white and fierce. This is no longer a man commanding from behind human lines. He's now behind enemy lines, embedded with the Ash People, an outsider welcomed in, or perhaps a manipulator welcomed just enough. The alliance between Cororic and Vang is as shocking as it is dangerous, merging human weaponry with Na'vi tactics. Cororic may no longer be the brute force villain of Avatar 1. Now he's a cultural infiltrator. A Na'vi in skin, yes, but one who's turning other Na'vi against their own. And then there's Cororic's son, Spider, glimpsed alongside Cororic in an official early image. The trailer finds him seemingly caught between blood ties and the family that raised him. Is he still trying to redeem his father after saving him at the end of the Way of Water? The trailer doesn't say, but his torn loyalties will likely define his entire arc in this film. What we do know is that Spider is in danger throughout the entire second half of the trailer. First in the jungle with the other Sully children, and then in the Thundering Rock Mountains, as Jake and Cororic, his two father figures, battle it out. Which side will Spider choose? Let us know what you think. The Tlalim Wind Traders. One of the most visually striking sequences in the trailer introduces the Tlalim Wind Traders, a nomadic Na'vi clan unlike any we've seen before. These wind traders sail the skies, traveling in a caravan of enormous ships that float far above Pandora's oceans and jungles. Conceptually, it mirrors Earth's nomadic traditions, like the Mongolian sky cities imagined in early Avatar concept art. In the trailer, the sky caravan appears as if it might be flying over the Metkaina homelands. Though with only a brief glimpse, and Kiri the only familiar character we see on board, it's hard to be sure. Their clothing is colorful, more than any Na'vi we've encountered so far. We also see in detail the new Pandoran creatures that resemble living airships, or zeppelins. These massive beasts have Q-like tendrils, presumably allowing bond connections like with other Pandoran beings. Though their full role remains unclear, the Tlalim are rumored to be welcomed by all clans and operate as Pandora's free traders, potentially holding the key to inter-clan diplomacy in the wars ahead. And then there's Eywa, the spirit that binds or divides. No Avatar story is complete without Eywa, the spiritual force that connects all life on Pandora. But in Fire and Ash, Eywa's influence is more contested than ever before. The Mangquan clan have rejected Eywa. After losing their home tree to a volcanic eruption, they turned bitter and nihilistic, seeing no divine grace in the world's cruelty. This makes the spiritual conflict at the heart of the story even more potent. On one side, Neytiri and Kiri, deeply tied to Eywa. On the other, Vang and the Ash people, who have turned their back on her. Kiri's connection to Eywa is clearly evolving. In the trailer, we see her transfixed by an Atokarina, a wood sprite. These tiny seeds of the Tree of Souls only appear around the saga's spiritually significant characters, as in the first movie. And Ronald's insistence that Kiri must do whatever she can suggests her link to Eywa might be more powerful than ever before. Is she simply Eywa's voice, or something more? The question facing every character in Fire and Ash may be this: will Eywa be enough to unite Pandora's fractured clans, or has the time of the Great Mother passed? Vang definitely thinks it's the latter. One thing's for sure, the spiritual stakes have never been higher. That's it for this breakdown of the trailer. Stay tuned for more in the fight for Pandora.